People think Beyonce is a witch, but what's wrong with that?
Okay.
I mean, here at Jupiter Juice, we love all things spirituality, witchiness, and all that good stuff. And it is no question that a lot of our modern day celebrities are using witchcraft.
Yeah.
Or if you don't want to use witchcraft, you can use energy work.
Mm-hmm.
Anything that can, manipulate energy is essentially witchcraft.
Yeah.
So.
Ancestor veneration.
Yeah. Exactly. And I'm Lee.
And welcome back to Jupiter Juice, your cosmic check-in for astrology, pop culture, and spiritual self-discovery. Yay!
So today we're going to be unpacking the divine feminine energy behind Beyonce's work and why her energy packs such a punch with the people.
So quick disclaimer, this video is not about demonizing anyone's beliefs. It's just about exploring Black spirituality and empowerment. Alrighty, so let's get into it. So people, not everyone of course, thinks Beyonce is a witch. Or, you know, she takes people's energy and uses it for her own good, whatever. Anyway, we're here to talk about the positive side of that type of conversation. But first we want to start with African spirituality and how it was demonized, especially during the Atlantic slave trade. You know, our people was taken from their land. We had our own spiritual practices. And I know people say, oh, Christianity came from Africa. Okay. Say what you want.
People say Christianity came from Africa?
Yeah, people say like they were studying Christianity in Africa already before I'm like, I don't think that's correct. Anyway, but we're not going to get into that.
No.
You know, African spirituality deals with voodoo. And, you know, of course, they have their different levels of things. They have their orishas. They have, you know, their deities that they pray to and things like that. I'm not going to get into it because I'm not well versed in that. But what I do know is that Christianity, as we know, was used as a tool for control, especially when it comes to, it has a big role when it comes to the Atlantic slave trade. And basically, like Africans, they were stripped of, you know, their livelihood, their dignity. They were stripped away from their families. They were also stripped of their spiritual practice. And we have what we call hoodoo here in America for African Americans, because it was a way for us to hold on to that culture, with our ancestors being brought over. And so African spirituality is demonized, and unfortunately it's demonized a lot by the Black community because of what we were fed, you know, like we were told to study Christianity and told to, you know, to believe in a white Jesus, and which doesn't even make
like
sense.
That, whatever makes
geographically.
Sense.
But I believe that, you know, having someone like Beyonce, I feel like she discovered herself and her spirituality through her work, you know, and you can see that.
You can definitely see that progress as things go on. Like, I think with her, the shift might have started around her self-titled album. Yeah. Maybe. Like, that's what I kind of noticed. And even like her, what's the era? Like the Sasha Fierce era. Sweet Dreams. Like even maybe around there.
Yeah, for sure.
But I definitely, with Lemonade is really what set it off.
Yeah, I think Lemonade, she got comfortable with actually displaying that's what it was. You know, her connection to Oshun in African spirituality. Black is King was like extremely like blatant, like this is what it is, of course, because she, you know, went to Africa to, you know, and also included African artists in that project. And like the symbolism in both Lemonade and Black is King is, you know, definitely stems from African spirituality and her, you know, connection to Oshun. And what I think is, like, I do think this narrative around Beyonce is a form of jealousy as well. And, you know, people aren't comfortable with someone that may be seen as deemed as powerful, especially a black woman being deemed as powerful, because like a black woman with power is a very scary thing to a lot of people.
Definitely. And Beyonce, you know, she is, I don't want to say, because she doesn't, I don't think she controls the masses. Like, I don't think that's her goal at all. Because if it was, she could. Not even gonna hold you. She's a very powerful energy manipulator. Yeah. But it's more so like she creates waves because she has the power of ancestors and of deities. Because any deity is going to work through you. Like, that's the whole point of the energy. And I think when it comes to like spirituality, especially African spirituality, there's so many different kinds of that. It's not just voodoo. And what I kind of dived into was the Dogara tribe. And I had a really synchronistic thing with the Dogara tribe, and I met somebody. I read this book by Malidoma Some. Definitely recommend it. Him and his wife write powerful books, and I remember reading the book, and I'm like, this is exactly the downloads I've been getting. And every time I would tell somebody about the downloads, they'd be like, girl, what are you talking about? And then I read the book, and I'm like, this is exactly what I've been telling people. What the hell? And that book followed me. It was so weird. And then I met somebody who studied under him. And they were like, yeah, this is the teachings of the Dogara tribe. And they actually showed me the teachings. And they're more so earthly. So they're less about deities and more about working with earth, metal, wood. It kind of reminds me of Chinese. For sure. But there's a lot of different branches, is my point, of spirituality. So I think definitely Beyonce with her Creole history. For sure. Uses her ancestors, her, you know, any type of deity.
She has a very strong bloodline, especially like what we know about her mother. I would recommend reading Matriarch by Mama Tina. She, like, I watched an interview about, you know, her and I forgot the interviewer's name. I'll probably put it on the video, like what video I'm talking about, like a screenshot. But she basically talks about their ancestry and how connected they are, and like you know, them being Creole, and like Beyonce has her mother's maiden name. That Beyonce is just spelled differently. The O is an I, like in her maiden name. And also like the, you know, how Solange got her name. That's a magical being right there, Solange. Okay, like that girl is definitely connected, but her name, she's literally named, and her mom didn't even know she was doing this, but she was named after 3 of her ancestors. Like 3 great grandmothers all had the name Solange, and her mother never knew that. And
crazy.
I mean, like, that spirit, you know what I'm saying?
Coming through.
Spirit coming through. So, you know, Beyonce is a very powerful being, but it's also, she has a very powerful bloodline, for sure.
Absolutely.
And like, they are also, like, her family is about community. Like, they're very community oriented and very involved. And it's funny because we were talking about in the Juneteenth episode about Galveston, Texas, because that's where she grew up.
Oh, did she?
Yeah, she grew up in Galveston. She talks about it in Cowboy Carter. She mentions that. I forgot which song.
Yeah, because that's her birth.
American Requiem. American Requiem. She mentions it.
Okay.
So yeah, ain't that kind of crazy?
Yeah, that is interesting.
Yeah, so she is like, she is from the place where, you know, Juneteenth came about.
Right.
So I think that's also a cool point.
So I think that Beyonce, like, I do wonder what her practice is to tap into that, because I know for me, I wonder what her family does, and if they have rituals that they maybe just obviously don't share to the public, or if it's just all like intuitive downloads that she gets and that she just channels it through her music and through her videos and through her art. Yeah. Because that is definitely a thing. So I wonder if she's like conscious of it, or if it's just like moving through her, because there's a lot of symbolism.
I feel like she is conscious of it. I mean, especially with Lemonade, it's like blatant, you know, like Ocean, like references because of like the yellow, that the gold dress that she used in Hold Up, and then like her connection to water, especially like in Lemonade and Black is King. She's always by a body of water. In Lemonade, towards a bit, I think at the beginning of the film, like she's in water in a bedroom, like her bedroom fills up with water, right? And it's like a rebirth of her. So she's like healing through her ancestry.
Yeah, she's like in the womb, literally.
So it's like, that's really cool. And like she's tapping back into her roots to basically figure out who she is, because basically she lost herself through a man. That don't we all?
That will lead you back to your roots for sure.
So and just connecting, you know, to the women in her line. That was all about female empowerment for sure. And then I think Black is King is more so about her continuing the lineage.
I agree.
Yeah.
Like, and also celebrating Blackness.
Yeah.
Black is King.
Yeah.
Hello. So it's and that's why I love her, because it's like, who the fuck else is doing that? Like, we need that. As a collective, we need that. Most of those songs I still will almost play every other day, especially like Find Your Way Back.
Yeah.
And anytime that I am feeling like absolutely terrible, that song will come through on my playlist on shuffle, and I will cry every time. Literally 2 months ago, probably around this time now, it came on shuffle on the train when I was having a bad day, and I burst out in tears on the train.
Yeah.
That song is powerful, man.
Yeah.
I love that.
I think like of course I love Beyonce. I know all of her work. I would say visually, I'm a visual girl. So like her short films and like her music videos, and I think that's why people are begging for some films for these albums.
I need to see what visuals she comes out for Copper Carter, because I'm looking at the visuals for the book and how she's like playing all these different characters. And how she got abducted. And then it's so dope.
It's crazy, but like I think like Lemonade was awesome for sure, but Black is King is insane. The set design, the costumes, the storyline, the color grading, it's beautiful. And the way she tells a story of like, it's like modern African spiritualism. Like it's like the way she portrays that. It's like it's digestible for the masses, because it's aesthetically pleasing and it's so gorgeous, but it's so rich. Yeah. And I think there's a lot of people view Beyonce as a surface level artist, right? Or like she's like basic or whatever, talking mess or whatever. But she's a very rich and very cultured artist. Yeah. And I think a lot of people have a problem with people mentioning that or people following her, because she is a powerful being and she knows how to use the energy and to manipulate the energy, not only to her benefit, but also she's healing people. People are healed through her music. And it's like Michael Jackson. I mean, like, that's what music is for. It's for healing. It's for helping people discover, especially Black women, because she is for the Black woman or Black people, discover their history and their heritage. And a lot of people probably had spiritual awakenings. I know for me, when I saw Lemonade, that was what, 2016? I think it was 2016, 2017. That kind of like woke me up a bit when it comes to spirituality, because I'm not even gonna sit here and lie. Like, I was afraid of hearing about hoodoo, voodoo, and all African spirituality, and like, because of what you're told, in the media and stuff like that, or just like in church. Not my church. I went to good churches, and I had good people around me, but people have this narrative, and it's based out of fear. Yeah. It's definitely. Like, you can be that, you can be powerful.
Fear, because it's like religion was introduced, Christianity was introduced, no shade, to control people. Exactly. So it's like, it was literally introduced to keep people aligned to whatever,
keep them in order.
There's no separation of the church and the state. Exactly. Like it was by design.
We
so
see
it's
that
like
happening today.
Yeah, but Psalms, I will say, Psalms can be very powerful. Prayer is powerful. My mom is a diehard Christian woman. Yeah, and I believe her prayers protect me every single day.
Yes, child, I would never turn away a prayer.
I would never.
If somebody want to pray for me, baby. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's like, at the end of the day, though, there's backing. The backing to that isn't, I don't know how to say this. I guess the backing to it is still your ancestors. It's still the spirit. It's like, hey, we got to get through some way. Yeah. That's what I view it. Like, so we gonna get through this way. So I don't even think that some people realize that they're already channeling. They're already on their psychic kicks.
Yeah.
Like that's literally, it's just repackaged and rebranded into something more palatable to the masses.
Yeah.
With Christianity, but at the end of the day, you're doing witchcraft. You're
Yeah, you
doing
are.
rituals.
Because I showed, when I went to my auntie church, they had us kneeling at the altar with the little wine.
Yeah.
My auntie went to a Lutheran church, so it's a little bit different. They're kind of like, they're closer to Catholic.
I grew up
versus,
Catholic, so.
Yeah, so it's like you kneeling, and then they putting oil on your head and stuff.
They put stuff on your third eye. You stand, you sit, you stand, you sit, you stand, you sit, you kneel.
And then the hymns.
Yeah, and then you're getting like fed every time.
Yeah.
Well, I guess it happens in all, but whatever.
But like, no, but for real, like, it's all connected, and people don't want to say what it really is. It's all witchcraft. It don't matter what name you give to it. It's the same thing.
Yeah, energy work.
It's energy work, and
You're
with
manipulating
Christianity, with Christianity,
Christianity. My new brand.
With Christianity, the energy work behind that is control.
It is. It's fear and like
Fear and control.
you know.
Judgment. And not
And fear.
everyone now, because like I know some good Christians, okay?
Yeah,
but they
absolutely.
also are open minded.
Yeah.
And like they may believe in a little ritual here and a little spell here. You know what I'm saying?
If it resonates with you, it resonates with you. I'm not gonna take that away from anybody.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, like for example, I'm gonna bring my mom up again. Like she was like sharing like these pastors. It's often men, and they're often like, it's just fear behind it. Like they'll just, the way they speak is instilling fear into people, and their motive is to literally get money out of these people.
Yeah.
And at least for Beyonce, yeah, she does want our money, but at least she's giving us something in return.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like she's giving us art, she's giving us life.
Yeah,
to be
and
honest.
it's something that is gonna last forever. You know,
Yeah.
it's like long when she's gone, like
Yeah.
it's still gonna be here for people to consume and to be inspired by and to grow with, and and to empower people.
Symbiotic relationship.
I will say that I've noticed a lot that Black women are definitely demonized when it comes to spirituality. Like, I would say spirituality has become a thing, especially like a pop culture thing. It's like very digestible. Like they say pop astrology, we have pop spirituality.
Yeah.
And it's definitely whitewashed. And it's like, oh yeah, let's do this beauty ritual for today, when a girl just got like a crap ton of plastic surgery. But anyway, I digress. You already know who I'm talking about. Yep. I love her now though.
Right.
But it's like, it has to be this bright, like fun, like, ooh, like, oh my gosh, Aphrodite. And I'm like, oh, okay, Aphrodite, yeah.
Right.
But it's like very much so like palatable, digestible, and it's whitewashed. And it's like when a white woman talks about spirituality and all this stuff and like, astrology, it gets pushed, it gets seen, it gets digested, it gets like, oh my God, like you're just so amazing, manifestation, believe in yourself. But when you get to like Black women that are into spirituality, astrology, whatever, it's like they're not as seen, or they're more demonized. Or like there's conversations like with glamorous is God is glamorous girl, and Jasmine.
Oh, yeah.
It's internal. It's like within our own community. Now we have to have a TED talk about,
She knew the scriptures too.
Yeah, she know the scripture, and that's the thing. Like a lot of Christians don't even know the scripture.
Yeah,
and they try to tell
scriptures are used in witchcraft.
Exactly.
A lot.
Like it definitely is. And it's just a really sad thing because we go against ourselves, but you don't see that as much. And maybe because we're not within that community, maybe they do got something going on. But I feel like Black women in general, a powerful Black woman is demonized or seen as a threat because a Black woman is, I do feel, the most powerful being ever. But hey, I digress. I do want to toot our horn. Let's toot our horn. Toot, toot, beep, beep. Okay. But yeah, I just think that's very interesting. Because Beyonce is just like so so hated on. Like, so what if she's using her energy?
It's so weirdly hated on too. It's like
Taylor Swift used her energy.
Yeah.
Child, you know she doing some work.
She's doing rituals as well. Most celebrities are.
Yeah.
And the most extreme example I can think of is Travis Scott when people were passing away at his concert.
Yeah, I saw somebody talk about that.
And there's a documentary coming out about it.
Yeah.
But he's standing over watching them K-word. Well, no, D-word. K-word.
Yeah.
Like, what the... Anyway, he's standing over them and watching them die. And he's just singing and humming and like looking intently.
Yeah,
and you don't think he's harvesting that energy? Hello?
Like, honestly, there's no reason why that many people should have been there anyway, but I digress.
Yeah.
But people, whether you good or bad, people use energy.
Yeah.
It don't matter, and it also don't matter what you look like either, because your favorite artist probably doing the same thing, and y'all not talking about it.
Yeah, Beyonce's impact is just that hits that hard.
Yeah,
it just hits that hard,
and it feels good. Like it don't feel bad. Like I've never felt like, oh my god, she's gonna take my brain. She's gonna sacrifice babies.
I've always felt empowered listening to her music.
Yeah,
always. But you know, if you're not comfortable with your own power, you're gonna be uncomfortable with anybody displaying
it's like
power.
It's projection.
Yeah,
it's projections. Like you didn't believe in yourself, or you don't believe in your magical abilities, so you demonize other people for using, honoring, and celebrating theirs. So hey, gotta check in with yourself, do some shadow work. So let's talk about the BeyHive as modern day devotion.
I'm a devotee of tea. But yeah, I think it's because Beyonce does channel different deities in her work, and people are kind of, I don't care what anybody says, people do crave like a higher power to me. So it's like you kind of project that onto celebrities. A lot of people do. That's where like fan girling comes from, or like any type of cult. It's like, to me, people are craving God in their lives, or like spirit in their lives, or just something to give them that divine source of love, or that divine source of, I'll be okay, everything's gonna be okay, I'm loved, or I feel powerful, or whatever you use it for. People crave it. So I think that is where like the stan culture, fan culture definitely comes in. And when it comes to Beyonce, since she channels those deities, you're able to just kind of like almost use that as a gateway or as a channel to do that with.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Because her fans are dedicated.
They're very dedicated.
A hive.
They're hive. Yeah. And like, there was this preacher lady talking about Beyonce. I was like, what did she say? She said, she mentioned the hive. She said, what is a leader? You have a cult leader, but then somebody higher than that has a hive. I don't know what it is, but y'all, it's this black preacher lady that got a tattoo on her arm. She wearing a blue dress. I forgot, but it's a TikTok video. But I'm like, so? Okay. And I mean, everybody got fans. Yeah. So because Beyonce got fans, it ain't okay. Everybody got fans.
And it's like, I think cults are like completely different because, again, Beyonce is not telling you to do anything.
Yeah, she's not telling you to do nothing.
If anything, she's channeling something, and then whoever you're projecting your own whatever you want to project onto it. And there is a clear message behind it.
Yeah, it is a clear message.
But it's a message of empowerment.
To love yourself, to love your lineage, to research. It caused me to research, more about my lineage and myself.
So it's like, people do get cultish, but even when people do get in those like cultish like fangirl, like Nicki Minaj fans, well, I will say she does kind of like sick her fans on people, so maybe that's a bad example. But like K-pop groups, K-pop people probably don't even get to use social media because they have such an extensive and rigorous life that they probably haven't even opened Instagram for themselves. They're not telling people to do nothing, but their fans are still going insane because it's like, they can't control that. You cannot control what your work does to people. You just can't. Like, so that's where it comes in. Like, you shouldn't like idol worship or like worshiping things that aren't God. Like, that's where it kind of gets sticky because it's like that your worship, like, you can like be devoted to like humanity and things and everything, but there's like a line that I think you have to draw when it comes to recognizing the other person's humanity.
Yeah.
Because Beyonce's a human.
Those parasocial relationships.
Yeah.
Like, she be on her burner, I'm sure.
Oh,
but
yeah.
she ain't. Yeah, the parasocial relationships, that's a you problem.
Yeah.
Like, that's not Beyonce. Like,
Yeah.
you know, like, there's interactions that you can't help, or like what people think. Like, regular everyday people, everybody got a hater.
Yeah.
And you can't, or got somebody who probably obsessed with them. You can't, you don't control that. You just living in your power. You being yourself. You're being in your true self. And hey, how the person, reacts to that energy is just how they react. But parasocial relationships and like cultish behaviors, that's not what she's doing. She ain't like, oh yeah, love me.
You guys should do
You gotta
this.
do everything for me. But hey, at the end of the day, this is a capitalistic society. Look, I'm gonna get my paper. You want these shows?
Yeah.
I need this paper.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, that's just what it is, and your pastor do it.
T. T. Hello, your pastor does it.
Why they got the ATM in the church?
In the church. Come on.
They hold your hostage. Close the doors.
Oh my God, I seen that video.
Shut the door.
He's insane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he said it was taken out of context.
Sure.
But I digress. Point being, Beyonce is not evil. She's just doing what she was called here to do by God, her God-given gifts, the gifts that, she received, through her ancestry, through her bloodline, her spiritual gifts. She was empowered by, her mother, really, and her family. She had those close-knit relationships, and she had those values instilled in her, and those spiritual gifts realized and also nurtured. And she was also empowered in her, like, to be powerful and to, to own her power. She's a confident lady. Of course, she's human. She's a human being, so I'm sure she has her doubts, and she can be critical. She is a Virgo. Okay, we've seen her documentaries, so we know these things. But at the end of the day, like, she knows herself. She knows the story that she wants to tell, and she knows that because she has a lot of power, that she's here for a bigger reason. So why not make great music, but also empower people in that, and also open the door to African spirituality and African ancestry, and Black people just taking back their power. Like, that's what she's here to do, and she's doing it well. And people are mad at that. Yeah. People are mad at that. So, yeah, she might be a witch.
Or whatever you want to call it. Priestess, witch.
Spiritualist. Yeah. Use ancestor veneration, whatever you want to call it, because guess what? It's all the same thing. Yeah. Okay? No matter how you blanket it, you can say, oh, she a deaconess. Guess what? That deaconess up in there drinking the blood of Christ in his body and saying his prayers and using her anointed oil and spreading her doors with the anointed oil or everything like that. So at the end of the day, it's all the same. People just don't want to admit that, but hey, that's just what it is. And you're jealous at the end of the day, in my opinion, because someone actually knows how to use that power and transmute it and make it into something positive and something that benefits them and her lineage to come. So that's how I see it. Yeah.
And it's like, I know a lot of people believe like, oh well, I'm waiting for God to do that for me, or God to do this for me. And sometimes it is good to put things in God's hands, but I think Beyonce is a prime example of opening yourself up and walking your own path so that you're able to literally move the energy through you.
Yeah, and I think God is working through her.
Yeah, exactly. Working through her real hard over time. So it's like, I don't know, that just reminded me of that. Like, don't wait on God to do stuff for you. Yeah. Like, sometimes, sure, but
sometimes he waiting on you.
If you want to be powerful, if you want to step into your power, you have to walk that path. You can't just shy away and expect God to take over your legs and walk it for you. Like,
okay.
So sometimes, if you find yourself in hater energy, but you're still a little bit open, hey. But yeah, that concludes our video. Thank you for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe to the channel. Let us know in the comments how you're feeling about this video, and what you think about Beyonce and what you think about energy work. And do you have any experiences with channeling something while you're creating?
Yes.
Let us know.
Well, other than that, thank you so much for watching Jupiter Juice. I'm Ronnie.
And I'm Lee.
And y'all have a great day. Stay beautiful.
Bye.
Bye.